Today we're going to talk about our final project. Use machine learning to find out mislabeled data. So firstly, I'm going to introduce what is a mislabeled in medical treatment. Now we take take an example in our daily life. Firstly, we have two people. One is named Yellow. The other is named Green. They are good friends. One day, the Green said that I have a headache, and the Yellow says I don't feel good either. The Green says let's go to the hospital together to see the gut doctor. Yellow says okay. So they go to the hospital. When they arrive at the hospital, the nurse tells them to take blood sample to see what happens in their body and give the blood sample to her. Then they get their blood sample respectively, and on the blood sample there are their names on them. However, because the nurse is so busy and she's kind of careless, she mistakenly exchanged the name label on the blood samples. So their blood samples are exchanged. Several days later, the result comes out, and when Yellow goes to see the doctor tells him that, oh, there's a tumor in your head. The Yellow says, oh my god, I'm going to die. The tumor is so terrible. He felt so sad and he is going to prepare for death. And then, when the Green goes to see the doctor says, "You just catch a cold. It doesn't matter. You just need to take some medicine, and everything will go well." The Green is very happy. He says, "Thank you so much, doctor." And he goes home and buys some medicine for curing cold. So 3 months later, because the Yellow knows that he has a tumor in his head, he spends much money on treating it. Because he still wants to live. He spends all of his money on treating it. And because the Green knows that he just catch a cold, he just takes the medicine for treating the cold. Certainly, the medicine aiming at treating the cold does not make any sense on his tumor in his head. So he dies. And he still doesn't know what happens when he dies. It's a very sad result. Now you know how terrible the mislabeling in medical treatment. It can cause very severe result, very bad result, and even death. Now let's talk about what did we do. In a word, we just use the mRNA data to train a model and predict some information with the help of the model and decide whether some of the information is correct. Firstly, we have mRNA data, and the format of the data I will show it later. And then we can, because the mRNA data is so large and it has thousands of dimensions, It's very hard to deal with it without any pre-processing. So we need to reduce the dimension of the mRNA data. After reducing the dimension, we have the clean data, which is very easier to deal with and it's much smaller than the original one. Then we can use the clean data to do some training and we get a machine learning model. When we have the machine learning model, you can give me some new data and with the new data and the machine learning model, we can do some prediction and get some result. In this case, the result is the gender of the samples. So this is the format of the mRNA data. You can see it's just part of the original data. You can see there are so many rows and so many columns of the data, and there are some useless data like all zero. It's better to clean this useless information when we deal with the data. So, how to make the data clean? As you can see, there are two rows of zeros. It's useless, so to make it simple, we can just delete the two rows. This is mRNA data. I have already converted to Excel format. We can see it's a very large data with about 11,000 rows and 1,885 columns. It's so large that we can't directly process with it to get our result or training a model. So we need to reduce its dimension. Okay. Now the problem is how to reduce the dimension. There are two methods for us to choose, PCA and lasso. Firstly, let's have a look at how does PCA work. Firstly, we need to do feature centralization. That is, every dimension minus average of the corresponding dimension. So the average becomes 0 at every dimension. Secondly, calculate the covariance of the matrix and get the matrix of covariance, matrix B. Thirdly, calculate the eigenvalue of the matrix B. At last, choose the eigenvector with respect to the biggest eigenvalue. And then we have the eigenvector, and then we will get the new data set. So in this example, we reduce the dimension of the original dataset from 4 to 2. It's easy for computers to operate, but it may lose some of the information when we discard some of the data according to its magnitude of eigenvalue. And how about lasso? There are many advantages in using lasso method. First of all, it can provide a very good prediction accuracy because shrinking and removing of the coefficients can reduce variance without a substantial increase of the bias. This is especially useful when we have a small number of observations and a large number of features. In this case, we have so many features like over 10,000 dimension. Moreover, the lasso helps to increase the model interpretability by eliminating irrelevant variables that are not associated with the response variable. In this way, the overfitting is also reduced. So, in a word, the lasso wins. So we choose lasso to reduce our dimension. Next, my friend is going to introduce our model training method and way to decide mislabeled samples.